Hello, you all, and welcome to the channel. I'm going to do this live stream today in response to a question that I received last week from a coworker and a comment that I received from one of my YouTube viewers about a video in reference to a video that I uploaded about Oprah Winfrey interviewing Robert Kiyosaki. Right. So if you all do not know me financially, let me give you a little bit of background about where I come from financially. I grew up in a home. My parents are pastors, and yes, I am a what you would call a PK, a preacher's kid. And although my parents exhibited tithing, giving, right, we grew up in poverty. We grew up in poverty. There were times where the electricity in our home was cut off, and we had this stove, and it was a wood burning stove, and you can remove the top off of it, and we would place the pots and the pans on the wood burning stove to cook on when we didn't have electricity, and we would have candles or fluorescent lights, right? Or what they call kerosene lamps, also, because we grew up in the country, aka very rural area during those times. But as a child, right, I looked at that as fun times. I really didn't know that my parents were financially struggling. And in the wintertime, right, in the wintertime, we had in the bathroom, we would take baths if we had hot running water, because again, if the utility was cut off, right, you didn't have a hot water heater, which was electric, was not working. So we would have to boil the water on pots on the wood burning stove and then dump the water into the tub. But right next to the tub was a hole in the floor. And even though we clogged that hole in the floor with towels and try to cover it up and tape it up, right? It still did not stop that cold air from coming in the wintertime, that you was in hot water, my sisters and I, and taking a warm bath that was boiled on water from a stove that we had to dump in and make hot water with. But we had cold baths to take, so we had to take quick baths because that cold air would be coming up through the wood floor. So I know what poverty is. I know that you can give and you can tithe and you can still be broke. And I know that tithing is only 10%, right? It's what you do with the other 90% is your financial education. In fact, if you really, really study the Bible, you will see that tithing was always done after the blessing. Most people have it misconstrued where they tithe to get a blessing. But if you look at Malachi chapter 3, for example, God blessed the priests and the Levites to then give 10% of whatever they raised agriculturally, the crops, to the priests. The Levites were blessed with land that they were inherited or they received as a covenant from God. If you study Abraham and Melchizedek, you'll see that the tithe that Abraham gave to Melchizedek was after he received the spoils and went to war and was blessed. So the tithe is always a result of the blessing. Is not to get the blessing, right? But I'm not on here to talk about that. I just want to throw that biblical fact in, because the Bible is a very practical book. It's a very practical book that has over 800 scriptures about money and money management that's often not taught in the local churches. Not all churches, but most churches don't teach these principles. And as a result, people struggle financially because they go by or they abide by church teaching and regulations versus biblical practical teachings and regulations about money and prosperity. And so Robert Kiyosaki, he teaches biblical facts, practical principles in a very practical way. He's not the only person that I listen to, but he's the number one person that I listen to that helped me transition to living a better lifestyle. In fact, when I went to college, one of the things that I did was I signed up for a free Discover card, right? My first year in college, Discover is advertising, get a free Discover card, $5,000 credit limit, and I also got a free t-shirt. And most households, it's taboo to talk about credit. And some parents that come from a poor working class household or a middle class household actually tell their children never ever get a credit card, right? But for me, that $5,000 credit card, once I graduated college and I had my daughter at 24 years old, I was in transition of finding a job with that college degree. And I came across this teaching by Carton Sheets, how to purchase real estate with zero money in the deal, right? Carton Sheets, I don't think that's available anymore. I took that very same credit card, people, and purchased my first flip property, my first investment property. I got it for $5,000. It was actually the former house of the principal that was my principal in the middle school that I attended in my hometown. I then took that property, had no money in the deal, no cash, right? I got people that I knew. My name was creditable to do the work, to do the refurbishing work that was needed. They did it up front. We signed a contract that, hey, I'm going to pay you X amount once the house is sold. The house sold for 5 times the amount of what I purchased it for. I was able to then pay my contractor. And then from that started my journey of learning how to use and leverage credit, right? To get assets. And back to my coworker, I had a coworker. Yes, I decided to this year, I'm no longer teaching and coaching middle school children or junior high children, depends on what area of the United States you live in. Some call it middle school, some reference as junior high, but I'm no longer teaching that age group of teenagers and pre-teenagers, right? And I had a coworker to ask me, she said, Coach Deloach, I know a lot of you all know me by Crypto Queen, but she said, Coach Deloach, how can you afford that $80,000 Jeep on a teacher's salary, right? She said, how can you afford that $80,000 Jeep on a teacher's salary? And my answer to her was just short and sweet. And I said, well, I invest. And I left it at that. But I really didn't give her a well roundabout answer into how I can afford those things. And my whole purpose of even purchasing this Jeep was in the event that this economy gets so bad, right, that my family and my daughter and I have to escape. I wanted something that was rough and rugged, that we could travel out of states or in the rural areas, mountains and hills, if be, or the country areas. And so that was my decision about the Jeep purchase, and the fact that I did my research and I found out that Jeeps hold their value. So, I made that Jeep purpose. I have 3 other vehicles that they have been free of any, payments that are paid off, and that the only thing that I have for them is the insurance, right? So it was not a need, but it was a desire and a want for those purposes only, as I'm showing you that the Census Bureau said are predicting that 3.8 million renters will likely be evicted in the next 2 months, and why the rental crisis keeps getting worse. For the first time ever, people, the median rent in the United States topped $2,000 a month in June, and the increases show no sign of stopping. So I'm going to go into how I, growing up in poverty, learning the real biblical aspects of investing in money and giving, and the effect of tithing the 10% or giving the 10% to what feeds me, to then knowing what to do with the 90%, knowing how to leverage and use credit to invest in assets. And simply put, assets are things that put money into your pockets. Assets are things that feed you. Liabilities are things that take money out of your pockets. and liabilities starve you. And so until you understand the difference between an asset and a liability, you're going to be financially struggling probably for the rest of your life. So this is what this video is centered around. This is what this topic covers. And your life, your outlook, let me pause this video real quick, and we're going to break it down. Right, this comment was made was left on this video by a Jackie Ware, and the comment reads, "It only took him $300 to invest." Right. First of all, the video did not say that. It said that he took $300 and started a business. But this person had a mindset of lack and poverty that they wanted to leave a comment that said no monthly payments. See, the very first thing you have to do to get on the pathway to financial freedom is not look at a home-based business or any type of business as a monthly payment. See, people are so used to and accustomed to bills, right? They are so accustomed to having bills, and they so regret having bills and monthly payments that they think that you can put $300 investment one time into a business and you can get the results that this man got. First of all, it does not matter if it's your own business or a brick and mortar business or if it's a home-based business. You're not in business if you don't have operating expenses on a monthly basis. All businesses require overhead operating expenses. Our business, in order to be operable and profitable, must have money reinvested into them on a monthly, daily, or weekly basis. But this person went on to say it only took him $300 investment, no monthly payments. See, the mindset is wrong. Do not look for cheap answers, or you will end up with a cheap life. Let me say that again. Do not look for cheap answers, people, or you will end up with a cheap life. And she says, and now more than ever, it is so easily gained with a few strokes of a keyboard, swipe of a phone, or okay, Google. People invest in yourself. Listen, and she says, unlock free knowledge. Let me tell you something. Free knowledge is the most expensive knowledge. Free knowledge is the most expensive knowledge. Let me change this camera view and give you an example. I had a friend that did taxes that offered for me to do reinstate my S corporation. Most people don't know that you pay taxes on an S corporation because in an LLC, you only pay taxes if you make a certain amount of income. So if you decide to have an S corporation, I'm going to give you some free game and some free knowledge about it, because most people think that it's so easy to go out, start my own business, go to LegalZoom, pay hundreds or thousands to get an LLC or C Corp or S Corp, not understanding the tax ramifications of that decision. And so my friend who did personal taxes but did not understand business taxes, I mentioned to her that my S corporation was dissolved and I did not know why. Her answer to me was, okay, Liz, I know how to get that reinstated for you. A couple of weeks later, I get letters in the mail from my state saying that I owe back taxes from the time that the corporation was became an entity incorporated for the year 2018 all the way up to the year of 2021. Not only did the state tax department contact me, but also the federal contacted me as well about back taxes. See, that was free information. It came from a friend. But free information can often be the most expensive information because people don't want to invest. Again, do not look for cheap answers. You'll end up with a cheap life. Then she says, invest in yourself and unlock free knowledge. If you're not willing to put up the $300, for example, that this firefighter did in this video, and I'm going to show you the video in a few minutes, then you're not investing in yourself. It's cool to learn from advisors, but even more wiser to seek and gain knowledge for yourself in a manner that costs you the least financially, especially if you are seeking generational wealth. One of the things that the rich and wealthy people do, they don't look for the cheapest route. They look for the best route. They look for the value of something, not the cost of something. I can go back to this quote: poor people know the cost of everything and the value of nothing. So this person's advice is wrong. And my question to that person is, okay, if free knowledge can set you free, then why aren't you financially free? So to answer the question, and I'm going to send this video to my coworkers and to the thousands of people that may watch this today, how on a school teacher salary, I'm going to show you the Oprah Winfrey, Robert Kiyosaki video, a firefighter's salary of $48,000 a year, and on a school teacher salary, how I am now earning more money working part-time on my fortune than 16 years of working full-time on my job. So let's share this video.
But you will now pass on to your children.
Yeah, really, the educational system that I had growing up didn't teach me about debt, credit card debt, liabilities, college loans, getting that fancy car right out of school. But what Britt and Chelsea are learning now is that, hey, make your money work for you, don't work for money. So it's been a big life-changing experience for me.
So what exactly, because now people are going, what exactly caused you to go from 48 to 100 in a year?
Well, that's a very good question. I think what it was number one, I sat down and I actually wrote out what my goals were and what my dreams were, and I had never done that before. And when I actually wrote those on paper.
Okay, I'm going to pause. One of the things that he said is to make your money work for you and not work for your money. That's number one thing that you don't learn in schools. I can attest to that, being a public school teacher for 16 years. The second thing, he wrote his vision and goals. I'm having a private webinar on that tonight, right? This person's comment on this video that you don't need investors or you don't need mentors. Mentors are great, but you can seek this knowledge for yourself. It's totally inaccurate, because even the Bible, again, the Bible is a very practical book about prosperity, teaches you that there is power when two or three touch and agree. In fact, the Bible says when two or three touch and agree on any one thing, I will be in the midst, says the Lord. The number two mistake people make is they do not have a mentor. They don't have a game plan. They don't have their goals written down. If I ask people, will you give me your 5-year game plan of what you want to be financially? They can verbally regurgitate that to me. They can verbally say that. But I said, no, let me see it. Let me see where it is written down. This is one of the secrets of success that I'm going to teach tonight to my team. That Habakkuk 2:2 in the Bible says to write the vision and make it plain. If it's not written, it is not real. And if you do not have your goals written down, and if you don't have a mentor or a mentee, if you're not using the power of 2 and 3 touching agreeing to live a better lifestyle financially, to accumulate more wealth, then you will stay where you are financially. I listened to an interview by Les Brown. Les Brown said this. He asked people that if you had 90 days to live, what would be the first thing that you would do? He said half of the audience raised their hand and said the first thing I would do is quit my job. Why? Because they feel like their job is not their purpose. They know that they're exchanging a whole lot of their time for a little bit of money that's not in their purpose, that's not in their desire, but they do it to pay the bills. We're going to go into the video that Robert Kiyosaki and Oprah Winfrey and this firefighter who went from 48,000 to 100,000 by investing $300 in a home-based business. And guess what? The home-based business now is even less than $300 that I'm bringing to you that teach these strategies. A lot of times people watch my videos of people that I have talk about the home-based business, and their mindset is so programmed to seek knowledge without action that they will actually ask me, what's the person's name? Instead of asking me, what business is the person in? Because they're not action oriented. What's the name of this person? How do I find them on social media? Who is this person in the interview? Instead of asking me what businesses are they talking about, what home-based business, and what home-based business that I can recommend or do I recommend that would give them the testimony of the people in the video. Those are people that seek knowledge but do not want action. So first of all, your goals must be written and you must know how to set goals. One thing that I've never learned as a student, even from elementary to middle school to junior high to high school to college, was how to set goals. And if you don't know how to set goals, your goals and your visions, your desires will not come to pass. Right? So let's finish watching this. He said, first thing he did, he wrote down his goals in life.
8 to 100 in a year.
Well, that's a very good question. I think what it was number one, I sat down and I actually wrote out what my goals were and what my dreams were. And I had never done that before. And when I actually wrote those on paper, I said to myself, well, how am I going to get there? What do I need to do? And that's what probably a lot of the viewers are going to say, yeah, this all sounds good, but tell me the answer. Well, the answer for me was I set up a home-based business. By doing so, it only cost me $300. I'm generating income from that and taking that income, buying real estate, put it in to the stock market, stuff like that. Buying more assets in my life and having my money work for me.
But you also kept your other.
Now, he said it only cost me $300. He didn't even go into the monthly financial service fee, first of all. So we cannot make that assumption, right, that the lady put on the comment. But he said he wrote down his goals and his dreams. And then now the answer comes when you write your goals and dreams, the answer to, okay, how will I achieve these goals and dreams? What are my financial goals? Most people don't know. For example, if I ask them, how much money will you need to retire off of? But better yet, how much money do you want to make in a day or even in a month to live the life to give you your time freedom and financial freedom? They don't know. Did you all know, for example, that one goal that you can have written down is to just earn $274 a day? Just $274 a day, people, is a six-figure annual lifestyle. See, most people don't know that. One thing that I teach also about the Bible is numbers. Numbers help you manifest. Numbers. In 90 days, people say if I had, according to Les Brown, 90 days to live, one thing I would do is quit my job. The number two thing I would do is travel the world. What most people have for their goals and dreams is to have time freedom and money freedom. And then he took the strategy of, after making the first action of realizing that a home-based business is going to help me reach my goals and dreams for a merely inexpensive investment of $300. Now I'm going to take my money and invest it in assets. This is a wealth of knowledge coming from rich and wealthy people.
More assets in my life and having my money work for me.
But you also kept your other job.
I'm still a full-time fireman. I plan on keeping that. I thoroughly enjoy my job.
Yeah. We love firemen.
Yeah. Have me on the singles show.
Yeah, I will. Wait a minute. You don't need to.
Yeah, I'm here.
You don't need a show.
Call the Oprah show and give me a call.
Okay. So your whole life has changed.
Yeah, pretty much. I've got just a great outlook. I mean, when I wake up every day now, it's just like there's all kinds of opportunity out there, but it's really taking that first step and saying, why am I here? What do I want to do? Where do I want to go?
Well, one of the things you say is that the poor pay their bills first, the rich pay themselves first.
That's a really tough one, but it makes people kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Because the richest man in Babylon.
This is some deep knowledge going down. He's going into the richest man in Babylon, and he's going into that the poor pay their bills first, and then the rich pay themselves first. See, I have to stop and pause because so many times people are so accustomed to entertainment and not education that they allow the nuggets, they allow the action steps and watching a video, and you'll leave a comment like the lady did, said, oh, he only invested $300. She focused on monthly payments. People, let me tell you something. Financial freedom is a long-term game plan, not a short-term solution. We're going to dive into how the rich pay themselves first. Everything in life is a strategy. This I know from being a former basketball coach. To be successful in life, it takes strategy, it takes skill set, and it takes mindset. So let's listen to the strategy.
Says pay yourself first. But what most people do is they pay the bills first and they never pay themselves anything. And that's a discipline I had to get into, was I'll always pay myself first, even when I had no money. And when I have all these bill collectors calling me, I use them as inspiration. You know what I mean?
Really?
Oh.
He stated, I paid myself first, even when I had no money. It's a strategy behind this. It's a strategy behind this. I have single women, for example, that come to me. They will invest more in a man or a partner, right? And then they're in a broke than they will in their own financial success strategy. Then they will invest in a home-based business. That these millionaires, and in Oprah's case and Robert Kiyosaki, billionaires, are teaching the principles. If you don't listen, the formula is it's quite simple. If you want to be better off financially, then listen to what the rich and wealthy tell you to do, not come up with your own conclusion about what to do. Right? If Google could set people free financially, they would already be free. We have to get out of this Google free mentality. Oh, all you got to do is Google. You want to fix your credit, just Google it. Listen, even if you Google the home-based business, which I have the number on the screen to the home-based business, if you text the keyword cash flow, even if you Google a home-based business, you're still going to have to take action and invest in it. Will you be willing to put up the $300 if that was the investment cost? And mind you, that this is interviews like 10 years old. So $300 10 years ago for a business, most people would complain about that still in 2022. And guess what? It's not even $300. It's more inexpensive now. But I'm not going to tell you what the investment is until you take action and text the number on the screen. So this is how rich and wealthy people pay themselves first, even on the pathway of becoming rich and wealthy while they were broke.
When they're hounding, the government's hounding you, bill collectors calling, because I've been broke, so I can understand what it feels like to be broke. When those guys are calling you, instead of shrinking and going into the shell and eating my pizza, I use it as motivation to go out and make more money. So I use my bill collectors as motivation, and that's why I paid myself first, even though sometimes I wasn't.
What would you pay yourself?
I always bought assets. I'd buy a house, or I'd put money in the bank and things like this. But it was just a habit. Exactly what you're talking about. It's up here.
It's about changing the way you think. That's what the whole book is about.
That's it. Because we're our biggest asset. We're also our biggest liability.
We are.
Yeah, we are.
I know,
Yes.
I read that.
Thank you.
Okay, during the commercial break, you said what? Stand up, say it again.
You say that you can pay yourself first, pay your bills second, but if you do that, you still can't afford to buy a house. Say you bought a house. How am I going to get somebody to loan me the money to buy a house when I can't fully pay my bills as I'm paying them now? When I'm paying the minimum payment, let's say that.
He doesn't understand the principle of pay yourself first. He's with a lot of people out there who are saying, look, I got the bill collectors calling. I'm scared to answer the phone because I don't have the money. So how am I going to now give myself money first when I got these people knocking down my door? That's what all these people are shaking their heads to.
Right.
They're thinking easy for you to say from where you're sitting now.
Well, I sell. I'm a salesman. I go to work every day and I try to sell more and more and more to make more and more money, but that money's still going to my bills.
This sounds like the typical middle class and the poor working class. I go to work every day. I work more and more and more. I put in more hours. I put in more overtime. I even got a second job, right? This sounds like 10 years ago, what people are still saying today, this year in 2022. And right now, people is the best time to become a thousandaire, a millionaire, a billionaire, because assets are going on sale. I just showed you 3.8 million people, renters, will be evicted in the next 2 months. Median rent right now in the United States is $2,000. And I still have people that ask me things like, I'm on a fixed income. Will this work for me? How are you on a fixed income in a variable economy? For the first time ever, $2,000 median rent. Will your fixed income be able to adjust to the rent increase? Oftentimes, fixed incomes really mean I have a fixed mindset. And I don't want to excel more financially because I'm in a comfort zone, a comfort area. And I'm hoping that something will save me. I was watching the Pursuit of Happiness last weekend with Will Smith and his son. And his son told this joke that this guy was in a boat that was sinking and God sent different people to save him and different things to save him. And he said, he told the people, oh no, I'm waiting on God to come and save me. And so when he went to heaven, he asked God the question, God, why didn't you save me? And God said, I sent 3 different resources, 3 different messages. You didn't see the message. And now going into this, that's what most of the poor working class want. They want a rapture to happen. No, you're going to have to get a financial education, take massive action if you want success, not just action, massive action. You're going to have goals and dreams for your life, and they must be written. And then you're going to have to take the action steps to bring those goals and vision and dreams and your vision to pass.
So I'm not getting called by the credit collectors.
One thing that Paul said right there, he starts a home-based business. The tax laws are written against, tax laws are not equal. And if you want, what I'm saying is got to get educated here. So tax laws are not equal. So if you're an employee and you work harder and harder, the government's going to take 50% no matter what. So by being a business owner, which is Paul did, he has tax advantages that the middle class and poor do not have.
The taxes are the biggest expense in your life as a salesman. The more money you make, the more the government takes. So get control of your taxes first by setting up a home-based business. Take that tax savings now, pay down debt, and buy more assets in the real estate. And you said, well, I've got credit problems. I'm not going to be able to get a loan. Find a motivated seller. Find owner financing. There's all kinds of opportunities out there. Most of society, though, will watch this show and then they'll go back to just sitting at home at night. You really have to change what you're doing in your life. If you're not happy where you're at financially, you've got to do something drastically.
Just saving money and investing is not enough. There is a complete mindset that goes on. I think that's what.
Wow, powerful the stuff that was said there. He said most people watch that video, they'll go back to their old lifestyle, watching television, watching Netflix. They won't make any changes. Robert Kiyosaki said it does not matter how harder you work. This is why Dave Ramsey financial peace did not bring me financial peace, because the harder you work, the more money you get from that second job. I've had people to tell me I've gotten a second job. I had to quit that second job because I was end up paying taxes or owing taxes. The more money you make, the more the government take. This is why a home-based business with 470 plus tax deductions versus having an S corp. I told you all the story earlier about the back taxes I end up paying for free advice that was bad advice, because I did not know that even on these corporations, right, you have annual taxes to pay. And one of the things people ask me in the home-based business all the time is, hey, do I have to start an LLC? Do I need to start? I'm like, no, you don't. You don't need to, because at this point, if you're not making $10,000 annually from the business, you don't need to be in a position where you're paying business taxes. So you need the game plan. You need the strategy. And you need the business. You need the 470 tax deductions. Even if you are self-employed or have your own business, you're not getting as many tax deductions that you would get from a home-based business. And this is the breakdown of what this video teaches and is explaining, and how a person can see all the free and negative out of this versus asking, Queen, how do I get the home-based business that they're talking about? They want $300, one payment, one time, which is not $300. If you take action now, I can, show you the discounted price, right? But it's not even $300. But even if it was still $300, that's still very inexpensive for the thousands that you can get back. And either you can avoid having additional taxes or even get a tax refund with high income. Most people that have high tax refund have low income. They are low income earners. If they get back $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 a year, they make about $35,000 a year annually. Because right now, 80% of Americans earn about $35,000 a year.
These people.
Paul was saying, because we all have the mentality in this country, right. You work harder, it will pay off in the end. It does not, because the government always gets theirs.
Right. Yeah. And then the real estate is the least taxed income you can get. So when my wife and I were struggling, we saved $6,000. We bought that house. Thing went from 46,000 to 105. We had $50,000.
But I think when people think of real estate, they think about the house that they would want to live in. So you start out buying something that you wouldn't necessarily want, and you use that to build more income.
And that's what she did. She bought 7.
Build more income.
That's my idea. I want to buy a 3-flat, live in the basement, rent off the top two apartments,
Good.
and have them pay my mortgage for me. Good. But I still need to come up with the original capital to buy the place.
That starts with paying yourself first.
Hey, Oprah.
See, bills first, so that the people don't, call you or not harassing you and so forth. What were you going to say, Paul?
I would say I was doing with the real estate what Robert's talking about, but for $300, I set up a home-based business. Anybody in this room can do that, and you're going to save money on your taxes, number one, while you're generating income on your business. Once you've got that income coming in, you can do all the real estate that you want then. So it's really just getting out there and looking at the different opportunities. $300 investment, can't beat it.
And guess what? It's even lower than that now. He said $300 investment. You cannot beat it. You can't beat it. And so this is why people don't get ahead. This is why the middle class is going to get poor in this recession. Gas prices, I told you all, are going to increase this fall and to this winter. People are already saying they don't have the money to pay their utility bills from natural gas. United States is not drilling enough per barrels a day for Americans going into the fall and winter months. And we're going to see gas prices is just having a reset right now. So I've said this all the time. And as he said, the tax rules are written for the rich. So what you do is you get more of your money back that you're making. This is how you double the money that you're already making in just one chess move. Double the money you're already making and then position yourself to earn more money, generate more money in the business. Through the business, not through a job. See, oftentimes it's not about how much money you make. It's about how you make your money. Most people only know how to make their money as an employee or through a small business owner. And again, those are the highest tax brackets that you can be in. So it's about really how much money you make and how you make your money. So don't look for cheap answers. You'll only end up with a cheap life. And you know what? Just because something is inexpensive does not mean it does not give you the value. So the steps, other than that, is to find out how things work, specifically the tax breaks in a home-based business. Find out how things work. Most people have a lack of knowledge of wanting to find out how things work. They don't have an idea. They don't know how to create money and work. It's not a lack of money, it's a lack of ideas. So get the ideas, get the concept, get the strategy, get the constant study of finding out. So when you find out something that works, write down the information, the goals, and the dreams. Put it in your journal so you can do the next best thing, which is repetition, repetition, repetition. Go over it. If you do that, some mysterious day, the idea will take root and start to grow and show up in your bank account. Capture the ideas, write the vision, Habakkuk 2 and 2. Have goals and have dreams. Some people don't have goals and dreams. And then study. Study the right thing. If you wish to be successful, study success. If you want to be happy, study happiness. If you want to be wealthy, study wealth. Don't leave it to chance. Make it a study. If you want a happy marriage, study happy marriages. If you want to be single and satisfied, study successful single people. You have to study things that change your economic, social, personal, and spiritual lives. Right? So here's a qualifying phrase. The first one is, you may not be able to do everything you find out. You may not be able to do all you find out, but you should find out all you can do. You don't want to wind up at the end of your life and find out that you or discover you only live 1/10 of your life and the other 9/10 went down the drain. Not for lack of opportunity, but because of lack of information. Again, the Bible says, my people perish. They perish because of lack of knowledge. Be curious. Be childish. Have childlike curiosity. Again, my coworker, we are working with first graders, and she asked me, Coach Deloach, how can you afford that $80,000 Jeep? One thing I've learned about working with children at that age is that they will bug you. They will ask you 1,000 questions. They will drive you to the brink. It's a virtue. They got to know. Be like a child. Jesus, the master teacher, said, unless you can be like a child, you might as well forget it. You don't have a prayer. You got to be like a child. You got to be like children. Number one, have curiosity. Number two, have excitement. Have excitement. These children are always excited. Every time I see them, they have excitement. They see me in the hallway. They say, hey, that's Coach Deloach. They're curious and they are excited. So steps 2, have curiosity, have excitement. Number 1, find out how things work. Now I already had number 3 written down, but we're gonna say that's 2B or 2C. Is to go to work. Go to work. Have a game plan. What is your investment game plans? Don't think in your head. Put it on paper. Don't operate out of your mind. Put it on paper. If I ask you, what are you going to do in the next 6 months? Again, if somebody told me, I say, don't tell me, show me. Let's be from Missouri. Let's be from the show me state. What are your goals? That's what I'm going to ask my team tonight. What are your written goals and dreams? Show it to me. Where do you have it written down? And then take massive action, right? And then talk to people. One thing Jesus did was he found and seeked his own disciples. He sought out business people, business minded. He sought them out. He picked his 12. Right? If you're telling me I'm going to give this queen 30 days, I'm going to put $300 one time. Again, it's not $300. It's more inexpensive than that. But if you think that I don't want a monthly payment, then that's not massive action. You need to take massive action. If you want residual income on a residual basis, then you have to invest on residual terms. Get an idea, heavy action, be creative, be excited, do the work, go to work. Don't look for cheap answers. You'll end up with a cheap life. And stop asking me, who are these people on the screen? What's their names? But rather ask me what they are doing. Don't wait till you learn 2,000 or 3,000 things as well, because that way you'll use up all your time. See, some people say this is a get rich quick scam, which is not. It's very legal. This is not tax avoidance. This is tax maximization, right? Why would Oprah and Robert Kiyosaki teach this publicly if it was illegal? But my thing is, how much time do you have to get rich slow? How much time do you have to get rich slow? If you don't want to use this strategy, if you don't want to take cash flow to get rich quick, how much time do you have to get rich slow? If you want to invest in forex and cryptocurrency, and you're going to let the government take 50% of your capital gains, then that's not a wealthy mindset. That's not a 6-figure game plan. That's not keeping more of the money that you're making or you're investing in if you're going to cash out on your capital gains. In other words, that's not financially smart. That's not financially smart. If you don't have a plan to keep more of the money of your investments, that is not financially smart. Right now, real estate is overpriced. So your next best investment is, for the value, is this home-based business. Now, I'm going to show you the other video. And again, if you leave a comment about what's their name, I'm not even going to tell you the name. Just ask me what game plan are they using. We're going to see Robert Kiyosaki again, right? Ask me for the game plan, not just for the names.
It's less than employees. Employees pay the highest taxes.
Yeah.
Guys like Trump may pay zero.
And people are angry
Legally.
at that, which is very interesting. People are very angry at people that don't pay taxes, which is, again, a proof that people cannot wrap their heads around that.
Because they've been hypnotized. Go to school, get a job.
You know, and so that's where people are. And so,
what were the charges on which you're convicted?
Willful failure to file. I did not file tax returns. I stopped filing tax returns when I found out. So willful failure to file is a misdemeanor, right? So I wasn't indicted. When you indict somebody, that's a felony, but it's called an information. So they filled out an information. They charged me with willful failure to file for 4 years. And guess what they did? They gave me a 4-year sentence instead of doing it concurrent. A misdemeanor, the definition of misdemeanor is jail for 1 year or less. But they gave me a 4-year sentence on a misdemeanor charge. Sure did. Yeah.
So there, as far as you're aware, there's no law requiring you to file. However, there's a law for failure to file.
Well, no, it's some regulations that they put together. In other words, what they did was, I don't want to call it ingenious, but all of those codes and regulations all mixed together, they made penalties for failure to file, but you have to be required to file. Some people are required to file, depending on what kind of income you have, but most people that live and work in the 50 states are not in that.
So who's required to file?
Foreign corporations, Americans that are living abroad, and for the privilege, other people that come in here for the privilege of being able to work in the United States. So, for example, we get all this junk from China. China is supposed to be paying us a ton of money, like an excise tax for sending all that stuff over here. But somewhere along the line with Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky and the blue dress or whatever, China got most favored nation status. So all of the tax that all these other countries and some of the foreign corporations are supposed to be paying has been laid on the middle class. Now, wealthy people they don't pay a lot of tax because they have all these loopholes that the poor people don't have. And they have the loopholes because the people that write these little codes and stuff give them loopholes. So the tax code as it's written is made for businesses. But all of us that work every day, we are expending our life energy every day in exchange for resources so that we can live. And that's an even exchange, no matter how you look at it. So even if you believe that there's a law, it's not moral because it's slavery. And what I always say is, if you are taking someone's labor at 100% and you are exploiting their labor and it's slavery, at what percentage is it not slavery?
Just in case that went over some people's head, she said, if you are taking someone's labor at 100% and exploiting their labor at 100%, at what percentage is it not slavery? For the people say, oh, Queen, I just get 30-40% taxes out of my paycheck. What percent is that not slavery? Small business owners, oh, I just try to break even and let the government have 40% out of my gains. I just try to break even at the end of the year. What percentage is that not slavery? When there's a system in place. And all you have to do is take massive action. And as Robert Kiyosaki, Oprah said, and the firefighter said, and change your mindset. Once you change your mindset, people, then you can change your money. Your bank account balance will not outgrow the value or the thinking or the goals of your mind. If you don't have goals and dreams and vision written, I can pretty much guess the balance of your bank account. I can pretty much guess the balance of that. And if you don't have the action plan, I can pretty much predict the future for you. People want prophecies from God. They want a prophetic word. I can give you a prophetic word. The economy is going to do the same thing it always did every 10 years. It goes through a recession. It's no different than the 2008, 2010 housing market crash. That was no different from the 9/11 in 2001. The economy does it. It always reset itself. The question is, will you prepare? Some people mentally need to go through a mind reset, because once your mind reset, then your money can reset.
I've heard sometimes people change the acronym to "it's really stealing." But
Right.
I guess your point is it's really slavery.
It is. Think about how slavery is. You go over there and work, and I'll give you a little food and water, and then you work every day. Well, what's the difference? I mean, most of the people that are in the grind, they're just surviving. We're sick of just surviving. We want to thrive too.
But you basically teach people now how to break free from this slavery.
Right. So 95 to 99% of the people are not going to stand up and try to cut the head off the beast like I did. And I don't recommend that, because I don't want anybody to go through what I went through at the hands of the beast. But what I do now is help people starve the beast. So most people are going to say, okay, I believe you and all that, but I'm too scared not to file because I don't want to go to jail and I don't want to take my stuff. So there are ways that you can work within the system and not have a risk of going to jail, but still keep more of what you earn. And that's what I teach people.
And you want to give a couple examples?
Well, an example of that is, you got a job and you want to make sure that I just got an email this morning from somebody that said they made $38,000. They took $10,000 out, and the IRS on this 2019 tax return is still saying they owe $800 more. So this person made $38,000 and is supposedly owing $10,800. That's just crazy. It's just crazy. So what you do is you can start a home-based business. Remember, I said that they have the tax code, all, whatever it is, and it's for businesses. So if you start a business, then you can deduct things that you already do, like your cell phone. That's a deduction. Your internet, all these things that normally that you're paying for, they can become business deductions. And that's what businesses do. A lot of corporations like Netflix and all these people, they don't pay taxes because they have all these deductions, and a lot of wealthy people have all these loopholes and deductions. Well, the American people need to learn these things and not just stay focused on having a job, which is okay, but do something different. When you come home, don't turn on the electronic income reducer called the TV. Don't turn it on. Decompress, eat your dinner, spend some time with your family, and then do a business. You can make money and you have all these deductions. And that's basically one of the biggest things that people can do to help themselves get out of the rat race.
What about going overseas or offshore, as some people like to say?
That's something for people who have gotten a little bit further on. After you're beginning and after you're making money in your business, then you can start corporations abroad, and you can start businesses abroad, and making sure that money is overseas. And there's a lot of things you can do. But for the beginner, just go ahead and get your home-based business.
So the question is, how do the rich not pay taxes? Okay. The multi-step process, let's start with this one first, keep it small, is here you go to school, get a job, you become an employee, but you learn nothing about taxes. Then you become a little entrepreneur, you start your little falafel shop business or whatever you start, right? So that self-employed, small business. And then you have big business, 500 employees or more, or I for investor. So Tom, how much tax do employees pay?
Well, typically if they're making a good salary, and this is, by the way, the same rates around the world, typically it's going to be about 40%. 40%.
And after the Trump tax cut, did that change much?
Not much. It didn't.
So if you're I'm going to start my own little business, I'm going to start my little pizza shop or my coffee shop, how much do these guys pay?
Well, now it goes up because you're paying both your share of the taxes plus the employer's share of the taxes, because you've got both sides. So now it goes up as high as 60%.
So when you hear a young person, an old guy like me say, I'm going to start my own business, they don't know anything about taxes, do they?
No, and in fact, this is the place where people get in trouble, because over here, the money's being taken out of your paycheck. But here, you're responsible for your taxes. And so what happens is that you go, let's say you're successful with your pizza shop, right? All of a sudden, tax time comes around. Oh no, I've spent all my money and I don't have money to pay the taxes. And people go out of business real fast here.
Well, it is surprising because a lot of the millennials do
Wow. So like they said, that's why a lot of small base business owners go out of business because they don't know taxes is their biggest expense. They spend all their money in the operating costs and they really don't even have time to focus on the business. And this is why people need not only the system, but the blueprint and the mindset. Again, six-figure game plan, the six-figure blueprint, right? I all have it for you. Text cash flow to the number on the screen. Get your taxes down, as all of these experts are saying. That's the first thing you must take care of. That's the first thing in starving the beast. The beast is in reference to the IR to the S. I want you all to think about this. Put the in front of the name IRS, and it says theirs. THE with IRS, and it says theirs, their money. This is how you get your money back that they're taking from your labor, and then also get extra money from building and generate more money by building a business at the same time. This is how you can go from 48,000, like the firefighter at the beginning of the video, to 100K income. Now you can have the money with this playbook, with this game plan, so you can invest, because most people don't have investing money. That's right. Most people don't have investing money. They put money into a forex or cryptocurrency or a stock with hope. And people, hope is not a plan. Hope is not a plan. I know you're going to quote that Bible scripture to me that says faith is the substance of things hoped for. But it did not say that faith was hope. It says faith is the substance, it's the material. If you look at the word faith, it has AI in it, which is artificial intelligence. So it is the intelligence that you need coming from an artificial or external source that have been put within you. That's what you need. And once everything comes together, you have to take massive action. That includes getting your taxes down, your debt down, your expenses down, and your stress down so you can get your credit scores up. Yes, this does help increase. They have professionals that will work on your credit score. Why have positive cash flow with bad credit? That's the perfect marriage, credit and cash flow together. I told you all how I got my first real estate property with a $5,000 Discover card. I discovered that I can get assets with Discover credit and not liabilities. So get your assets up and then you can get your income up. See, most people think that because they have income, they have cash flow. No, it's a lot of people that have income that do not have cash flow because you have no money left at the end of the month. You get paid, you have a check, you have an income. I saw this advertisement where you can call to get your paycheck deposit 2 days earlier for a smaller fee, for a small fee. See, people are not concerned about, or I'll say it this way, people with a mentality that they don't want to be financially free, they don't look at those fees. They don't look at a monthly payment for Netflix. They don't look at monthly payments of utilities. They don't look at ways to get those expenses down. And yes, you can get those expenses down as well with this home-based business. It's everything in one concept. So now, this is how the six-figure plan playbook works. You lower your taxes. It's called an instant pay raise out of your paycheck. You have something that's called FICA, that federal taxes that's come out of your paycheck. By adding this home-based business, the experts will analyze your paycheck to see if you're overpaying in taxes, which means if you are, now that payment is shifted back to you. So instead of overpaying in federal, you can overpay for you and your family. All you have to do is upload your 2 most recent check stubs if you are an employee. Upload these documents. It's very simple. An agent will review, and these are professional agents, not a friend, that probably don't know what they're telling you and giving you the right adjustment. And then you can have your new W-4 ready within 24 hours to turn into your human resources department or your payroll department. Now, also you might say, well, I'm a business owner, or I get paid with a 1099. Well, guess what? All wealthy people have people around them that's smarter than them. They have a team. So you can get your taxes filed here through a CPA, a certified professional accountant, not someone that didn't give me the well-rounded tax advice that I could have needed, or CFA, a certified financial professional or accountant. So the six-figure playbooks, also, there is a such thing as using your debt against you. Debt can be a two-edged sword, or debt is a two-edged sword. Either it's working for you or working against you. The six-figure playbook also includes the elimination of debt that is working against you. So now you can use and leverage that debt to work for you by acquiring more assets. This is eliminating your debt. You upload your debt. Again, if your visions and your goals and your dream is not written, it's not real. It'll show you your debt-free millionaire day and the amount of interest that you're saving. Any interest you're saving from the banks, meaning that interest and money is shifting back to you and your household. Now, expenses are up. I told you our natural gases. We have millions of Americans not able to pay their bills. You can get your natural gas prices down. Experts will work on this so you're not being overcharged, not only out of the money that you're laboring for, but on the bills that come with a monthly payment that you're paying. You gain peace of mind that you're not being overcharged. This have saved everyone in the home-based business that have took massive action, at least $14 million on average. There's no risk, no charges or disruptions in your services. Your cable bundle, your internet, your television, your phone, your satellite, your security, pest control, water delivery. People, this is the six-figure playbook. Also includes raising your credit score. You get your credit report through the MWR Smart, and MWR is abbreviated for Make Wealth Real. This is the membership. Again, if you want to know the investment price, you got to take advantage of this offer. Text cash flow to 254-278-1144. It is, I will tell you this, it is not $300. It is under $300. You upload your credit reports and your ID, right? And the experts go to work for you and repairing and restoring your credit. One of the myths that people have been told is that they have to live with bad credit. No, any type of credit can be restored and repaired. So let's increase your cash flow because your income is not getting it done because it's high as tax. The government is coming after small business owners. They've just hired 87,000 new IRS agents to audit those small businesses and persons, the upper middle class that's making under 400,000 a year. So let's get your plan in place because the government has plans for you. Again, test cash flow. I'll see you on the other side, and let's get you started so you can be on the video giving your testimony and not trying to give people free advice that will not set them free. Queen out. Thank you for watching. Also visit my website, Crypto Queen 111, so you can stay subscribed to me, keep in contact with me, the Millionaire's Game Plan. Enter your name, phone, and email so that you will be a part of my public and private webinars and financial teachings about other wealth accumulation strategies and assets that I'm helping people acquire after they get positive cash flow through using the six-figure playbook strategy. There are some other assets that's going to greatly increase for this reset, the change of this currency system, and you need the information and the education as to what they will be. So go to the website, CryptoQueen1111.com. Thank you all. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel, Queen Millionaire Moves on YouTube. Like and share this video and subscribe to my channel as well, right? Sharing is caring. Queen out.